In Jonestown, Texas, there is a home that has a second floor balcony that looks out to incredible greenery. If you like views like this, you like open concept homes, then stick with me. Now this is the Brookdale II plan built by Drees Custom Homes in the Hollows community. Now we're looking at 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and over 3,800 square feet. This home is currently listed at the time I'm recording this video just under $960,000. Now by the end of this video, I want to know what you think about the second floor balcony upstairs and all that beautiful greenery it looks out to. But I also want to know what you think about the views from the spare bedrooms upstairs. I cannot wait for you to see that. Now, when we first walk in, you're greeted by this grand entrance that opens all the way up to the second story, really sets the tone for how this home feels. We also have a game room and a media room upstairs that we're going to show you later on in the video. And I think you're going to love how much natural light pours in from all these windows. Like usual, we're going to go right out to the main living area where you can really see how open this floor plan is. We'll take a closer look at the kitchen in just a minute. We're also going to come back to this living room to show it from so many different angles. And by the way, my name's Raj Sahu. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas, and I've represented clients with 22 different builders. So I'm going to give you the perspective of walking through hundreds of these homes with so many clients who've reached out to me through social media that come out to living rooms like this and tell me, wow, this feels so grand. Now, one of the first things that we're going to start off with is the kitchen. And what I think so many people tell me about kitchens like this is it starts with the two-tone kitchen cabinetry. It really draws your attention to that kitchen island by having a different color around it. I'm also seeing more of this light brown color on islands and cabinetry. It's almost like a wheat brown, and people are telling me browns are making a comeback, but it's not the dark brown that you used to see back in the 1990s. This lighter shade really works well with the countertops and the cabinetry throughout the space. I think it really plays well also with a lot of natural light coming in. But I think what really catches your eye is the green in this backsplash above this 5-burner gas stovetop. It has so many different shades in it, and it's such a unique color. And I'm seeing a lot more greens in some of these homes come back as a fun trend. Let me know what you think about this. I think it plays really well off of that light brown color, and I'm seeing this combination come up now in different model homes. Now, I appreciate how they carry that cabinetry across this wall. The same thing with the kitchen backsplash. That under cabinet lighting, I think, is also playing a big role in how much that backsplash pops. And then the upper cabinets extended all the way to the ceiling really gives that kitchen a finished look. Now, something I find unique about this floor plan is how the kitchen island faces out to the backyard. When your home backs up to greenery and you have windows like this, even something as simple as doing dishes becomes enjoyable because everything opens up to that beautiful greenery. The sliding glass doors in the living room really help. The windows in the dining room are also bringing in great natural light. It really connects the indoor with the outdoor area. And I've had clients tell me they spend most of their time right here at the island, whether they're cooking, entertaining, working on their laptop. And so having it open to the rest of their main living area is really important to them. Now we're gonna step outside in just a couple of minutes, but before we do, I wanna show you this pantry because it's much larger than what we typically see. It extends slightly underneath the stairwell while still offering plenty of storage. You could easily remove these shelves and install custom home built-ins if that's your preference, and I've had many clients do that. There's even room on the right side for additional storage solutions or a piece of furniture. There's also something that you can do to put in a coffee station in here, and I've seen people do that so that that coffee station doesn't take over their kitchen. But there's just a lot of flexibility with a pantry this size. Now let's take a quick look at the utility room and the garage before we head outside to the backyard. And what I'll tell you stands out in this utility room, it's got to be the floor tile. And I've had many clients do this as well, where they pick a floor tile in a fun space like a utility room or a powder bathroom or like a small area. And I love how this floor tile, it's arranged in a hexagon pattern, but the design creates this flower-like effect. So it really draws your eyes. It almost seems seamless to the point where you don't really even see the hexagon pattern. I think it looks very cool, and they did a really nice job with the built-ins here, which really play off that floor tile. You have plenty of room for a washer and dryer, which is just opposite of this sink and this cabinetry. Let me know what your thoughts are on having a sink in the utility room. when people first consider it, they always say, well, why is that necessary to have a sink? They have a sink right around the corner in the kitchen. But I've had people tell me that if they have small pets or they have small kids, the young kids, they always have stains on their clothes. They really need that utility room sink. Now, moving on to the garage space, you'll notice some staging boxes in the garage, but I want to be clear, this home has never been lived in. That was probably just from unboxing some staging items. And overall, what I really appreciate about this garage layout is while you have a single car entrance on one side, this side, it feels almost like a 2-car space, and it's street facing. It makes it great for storage without having to navigate around everything to get to your vehicle, and that can be really annoying. And that separate 2-car side entrance garage is perfect for cars, and also that brings this very long driveway going up to this home, which a lot of people tell me they really value. Now, what's unique about this garage is what's coming up, which I'm going to show you the greenery off the front of this home. It's absolutely incredible. But I've also people tell me having separate garage spaces is great because you can turn one side into a workout area and it doesn't get in the way of the cars. You're not like working out right next to your cars. And I've had people tell me they love that. And then also the fact that both garages are still connected to each other, but still feel private from each other is a combination that a lot of people tell me they want as well. But take a look at this greenery off the front of the home. Wait until we get upstairs and we look out the front of the home. I'm telling you, it's incredible. There is an amazing view from there. And I want to take you back to the living room so you can see it from many different angles. But don't worry, we're going to get up to that second floor balcony later on. And I'll say it again, those spare bedroom views from upstairs, it's unbelievable. And I was so surprised when I got upstairs, pleasantly surprised when I saw that view. Now, moving on to this living room, there are so many angles you can appreciate this living room from, but I really like this view. You got 8 windows along the back wall on the left side. You got those sliding glass doors on the other side. You got 3 more windows above those sliding glass doors that actually lead out to the second floor balcony that we'll be seeing later. And I think this living room is a perfect example of why so many people are drawn to newer construction. When you combine this much natural light with tall ceilings and all that greenery visible through the windows, it creates something special. It feels so grand, so open, and that's hard to replicate in older homes where windows are usually smaller, the rooms aren't open to the second story, you got definitely lower ceilings in a lot of cases, and it's that combination of different elements working together that really makes this space feel so appealing. I also want to point out the fireplace because I think they did a nice job with the tile selection. It provides some contrast without being too bold and taking over the room. Like sometimes you'll see a dark tile, which I've had clients do on their fireplace, run it up a 20-foot tall ceiling, and that's great when you have like a white and black design theme going. But I think for here, dark would have been too much for this wall. Really would have just drawn too much attention to this wall, and I don't think it would have flowed with a lot of the other upgrades that are shown in the kitchen as well as the flooring that was used in this main living room. Let me know what you think about this tile. I think it looks great, and I think it overall really flows with the design choices that were here. Now, putting design to the side for a second, I also think what makes a lot of sense here is the structure itself. So many people tell me they spend most of their time in the main living area, so making it feel as open as possible with lots of room for entertaining and having people over, I think this floor plan really delivers exactly that. Now, moving on to the backyard patio, we have these sliding glass doors that really make this living room and main living area feel like it's a part of this patio. What I want to address is the elephant in the room. If you are worried about privacy with that other home that's next door, which is also brand new, there are simple solutions that you can do, like adding landscaping. You can do fencing, although I do believe that you need to put in wrought iron fencing, so maybe that doesn't get you as much privacy. But I've had a lot of people put in landscaping, and as soon as it grows in, it feels very private. And I don't want you to think that homes are like that here in the Hollows, where they're all right next to each other over and over and over again. It really does not feel like that. You might have a cluster of 4 to 8 homes in a row, but then there's like a natural break of like lots and trees and greenery kind of between them, and you don't feel like this is a massive master plan community where every single home is in a perfect rectangular shape. In fact, this one does extend outward. We are on 0.42 acres. And so even though the grass is, I think around 10 feet, don't quote me on that, but 10 feet from the home, I don't think that you're limited by that. A lot of people do extend out their yards, but some people just like the natural vegetation and they don't really need to use their backyard. So they really leave that open to choice for whoever wants to come in here and make that backyard theirs. Now, there are certain things that you can do in your backyard. A lot of people in Texas put pools in there, but I gotta tell you, the pools, the pool that's at the Trailhead Club is unbelievable. It's actually perched up on a hillside, and that amenity in the hollows alone, which are so many more, but that one alone makes it so worth it to live in the hollows. It's like resort style living, perched up on a hill. And so I think a lot of people, for that reason, ask themselves, do they really need a pool in their backyard when they have that in their community? Now, moving on, getting back into the home, we are in the dining room. And what I really like about this dining room, it sits right next to the kitchen and the living room, so it really feels connected into this main living space, but it still feels like it has its own identity. It's its own separate room. And that's a balance that can be hard to find. A lot of people tell me they have a formal dining room, but they never use it. They end up just dropping their mail on their dining table. And so that tends to be a very wasted space, or you use it maybe once during like Thanksgiving or something like that. But with a layout like this, even if you're not using the dining table every night, it still doesn't feel like wasted space, because I think this space next to the kitchen is really valued, especially with the windows there. Also, let me know what you think about that chandelier. I think it does flow really well with the upgrades that are shown here, but I don't see too many chandeliers like that. I see a lot of modern ones, and this is got a different vibe to it, but I think it looks cool. You let me know what you think. Now, there's a study and a secondary bedroom at the front of the home. We'll circle back to that, but I want to take you to the primary suite first, because the bathroom has some really nice design details. I think it's actually one of the highlights of this home. We also still have that second floor balcony that I'm going to keep talking about because it's unbelievable. I'm going to talk about so many of my clients later on in the video that bought homes or built homes with different builders, and they put in a second floor balcony, and it was absolutely mandatory. Now, moving on to this primary bedroom, what I think stands out of all things is the tray ceiling. The tray ceiling is great because the ceiling height already in this primary bedroom is fantastic, but I think tray ceilings are underrated. In fact, a lot of people put a design within the tray of that ceiling, or the ceiling itself. They put in a really cool design that forces your eyes to look up. And there's just so many things that you can do that are fun with a tray ceiling, but you don't want to put in a tray ceiling after closing. Now, what's also fun about this primary bedroom is you also look out to that beautiful greenery. So just imagine peeling back the curtains in the morning and you have that great greenery in there. Now, there is some good staging in this home, really allows you to visualize this space. But if you want to take it to the next level with some design, I think putting an accent wall behind that bed would be fantastic. A lot of people are putting in like wall panels or just a different paint color. I've seen a lot of fun things, or just maybe just a piece of trim and then they painted a dark color and they put it in a design pattern. So many fun things that you can do as an accent wall behind a primary bedroom. Now, in this primary bathroom, it really has a lot of features that elevate this space. Like the mirror spans almost the entire vanity, and I find that those large mirrors make a significant difference in how this bathroom feels. I also appreciate how the mirror frame coordinates with the hardware and the pendant lighting. It's those small details that I think really tie a room together. Now, this floor tile is laid in a herringbone pattern. And by the way, I'm trying to dodge the camera here so I don't get in the way of you experiencing this primary bathroom. But take a look at that floor tile. I think that herringbone pattern naturally draws your eyes into the walk-in shower, or if you're on the other side, you really get drawn to this tub, which has a tile surrounding it. Now, a lot of buyers are opting for freestanding tubs these days for the aesthetic, but I like this built-in style that we're going to circle back to. I think the recessed shelf on the left side it's perfect for exactly what you're seeing there, a towel and decor. And I think this tub feels more intentional in this space. I think a freestanding tub would have just been kind of like for show. But hey, if you really want the show and you want the aesthetic, I'm not blaming you either. They do look very cool. Now, for this plan, there is a very unique option that is hard to explain because it really changes the dynamics of this space, but it's called the optional media room with primary bath super shower. So that changes the orientation of the shower and really the bathroom in general and kind of the entrance to it. And it adds a media room space downstairs. So that's not something that you usually see, but I think with Drees, it's really not surprising. Drees really does fun things in their plans so that you can really try to customize it, hence the name Drees Custom Homes. And that's why I think Drees really stands out compared to a lot of the production builders that are out there where you just don't get as many options compared to Drees. Now, before we look at this shower, I did want to mention that we do have the walk-in closet there that had just some rods and shelves in there, but you could easily rip those out, do a third-party closet built out. I do have a local company that you could work with on that actually works with Drees on a lot of their homes. But I do like this built-in cabinetry that they have in here. I always think linen closets are kind of boring, and also when you have that bigger door, it kind of opens up in the space and just doesn't feel, it feels a little bit awkward, but I think that built-in cabinetry breaks up that wall and it feels like the opposite of awkward. I think it coordinates really well with the design in this bathroom. The walk-in shower has a lot of great neutral colors. We got that horizontal tile going all the way up to the ceiling, a couple shower heads in there, one of them being a handheld. A lot of fun things in that walk-in shower. Okay, overall, I loved that primary bathroom. I think it stands out. It's one of the unique pieces in this whole home compared to other homes that I've seen around this area. But there's still a lot to see here. Let me take you to the study. We'll check out the secondary bedroom on this floor before heading upstairs. And then we'll see that balcony, the views upstairs. And I think this study is really going to resonate with a lot of people, especially those that work from home. And, you know, what I should say is when I evaluate a floor plan, I'm really thinking about livability and future resale value. And for most buyers in this market, a dedicated study is a must-have, and having it positioned away from the primary bedroom is important. I talked to a lot of people relocating from the West Coast who don't have a separate workspace in their current home. They end up using a spare bedroom as an office. I even had somebody who used a closet as an office. And when they need room for, guests, all of a sudden that spare bedroom, or even sometimes it's like a closet in a spare bedroom, they don't have that anymore. And so they end up moving their office into the primary bedroom. And that's really tough. You're sleeping in the same space where you're working, and it's just not great. I think having a separate space for a study is the number one reason why people are looking at deep into the suburbs of the Austin, Texas metro, because they know that they have a work from home element and they can have that space where they can work, or one spouse can work, and they don't feel like they're, intruding on another area of their home. Now, what I did want to move on to is the grand entrance, because from this angle, I don't think you really get the full picture, or I should say when you walk in the front door, I don't think I looked up and really showed you those windows on top of the double doors really make a difference, and how much actually double doors and those windows bring in natural light. There's so much natural light coming in from the back of the home, but it's also coming in from the front of the home. And then moving on, we are looking at the secondary bedroom on this floor. And this is so important for multi-generational living. I have a lot of people that tell me that they have parents who can go up and down the steps, but their parents are aging, and they don't want to talk about it in detail, but they do want to plan ahead. They do believe that, hey, if their parents can't go up and down the steps one day, or maybe if you still have grandparents with you, which is fantastic, they want them to be able to live comfortably on the first floor. And what you get as an added bonus in this home is that amazing greenery off the front. There is a home back there. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a home. It's a big custom home that's got canyon views because there's a drop off back there. But the reason why you can't see it is obviously the greenery, but also the driveway starts to drop down. And that's why you don't see those homes right up in your face when you look off the front of this home. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the top floor, where we're going to look off the front of the home in those spare bedrooms that have those incredible views. Now, this floor plan does have a full bathroom that is accessible from the hallway here, so it's convenient for anyone staying in that secondary bedroom. It does have a walk-in shower, so there's no tub to step over, which I find is preferable for accessibility reasons for, aging parents. But if you'd rather have an in-suite full bathroom, Drees does offer that as an option when you build from scratch. Obviously, at the time of recording this video, and double check these things before making a buying decision, these upgrades do change over time. But basically what it does is it adds a powder bathroom off the foyer, and then it makes this into a full bathroom that is has a private entrance from the bedroom. There is also an independent living suite option that expands the bedroom, and then it also does that same thing of adding an in-suite full bathroom and then a powder bathroom, or I shouldn't say adding an in-suite full bathroom. It just makes that full bathroom in-suite and then adds the powder bathroom. So there's so many nice upgrades that you can do, and they're not all easy to explain because it's much easier when you're looking at like a floor plan and you can kind of see what you're getting, and maybe sometimes it's giving up space here, sometimes it's cutting out space in the yard. There's always something that you have to take to get these things, but I think understanding that compromise is really important. Okay, heading upstairs, what you really need to notice is when you get to the top of the steps here, what you really feel is all the natural light coming in. You get that natural light from the game room, this loft area where you have a lot of windows, but take a moment to count all the windows that you see right when you get to the top of the steps. Like, we got a few windows on the right, we got a few windows on the left. As we turn to the living room, we get all that natural light that's accessible from this loft area. And this is what I think a lot of people tell me is what they feel for an open concept home. Sometimes people tell me they have an open concept home and people see it and they say, I didn't just feel open concept. And they always ask why. And I think it's because it's missing a room like this. Like, I can't describe in full detail how it feels to get to this game room, but I'm trying to give you the best visual possible by doing like a 360 view. And look at the front of this home. See that view from the windows above the front door? It is incredible, and I can't say how surprised I was when getting to the top floor and thinking, wow, I knew this home had a second floor balcony looking at the back of the home, which we're going to get to in a minute. But when you look off the front of the home, it is breathtaking. Now, what we want to really cover in the game room is how would you situate the furniture? It's tough to say because there's kind of railing on two sides. There's this door to the media room on the other side. I've had a lot of people just say, hey, I just want that loft area as a place for like toys and their kids to play, or they just have a couple chairs, kind of like a sitting area, like a reading nook, which you could do there. But I don't think you need to put a TV in there, and that's because you have the media room right here. And the media room's already got electrical going. You see that up on the wall. Perfect to hang a TV in here, as you could really make this into a theater space. You could close in the doors, and so if you're watching a ball game or you're being loud, you're watching a football game, I tend to yell at the screen often. Sometimes I need to close the doors so it doesn't reverberate through the house, and I think having that media room is so important for that reason. But what I think really stands out here is going to be the sliding doors. This is such a good use of sliding doors in this space so that you don't have doors swinging into the media room, which would really cut into the furniture that you could put in there. And then same thing for the game room. If they swung out to the game room, I don't think that would make this game room feel as usable, but that's a good use for sliding glass doors. Now, we are going to get to the secondary bedrooms over there, but don't worry, I didn't forget. We are going to get to the second floor balcony. I know I talked about it so much, and so let's show it to you next. Now, this is one of the best parts of homes that I love sharing. It's because so many people tell me after a long day at work or really just a busy week of travel, they just want to have a place to unwind. And coming out to a balcony like this in the morning with your coffee, or again in the evening during sunset after a long day at work, it's exactly what people are looking for. And this is exactly why people come out to the Hollows. It is a bit further out than other communities that have beautiful topography. Like there's a community called Treviso over in Leander, Texas. And so if being closer is a priority and you still want views, there are homes there, but that's a bigger master plan community. The homes are definitely closer in together. There's just so many more homes. It doesn't feel as peaceful as it does in the Hollows. But then also the pricing's different. Treviso does tend to be more expensive, whereas again, this home is listed below $960,000, and you get the second floor balcony and a lot of the upgrades that we've shown throughout this home. Now, let me show you the secondary bedrooms up here. I know I've talked about it enough. The first one does have a window at the front, but the bedroom after that is just unbelievable. I wish you could have seen my face when I went through that second bedroom that's up here, but we'll get to it, don't worry. Now, this first bedroom that we're going to get to, it does have a nice window on the side, And I'll tell you that what I would do on that side is put a desk there and then put maybe like a bed like on that side. I think you'd have a little bit of room for maybe not like a desk, but there's something that you could do. There's some sort of configuration that I think you could do to make it work. And that way you're kind of looking out to that beautiful greenery that's off the front of the home. And there's just so many things that you could do here. I've also had people say they need a secondary study up here because both spouses work from home. That's why they're in the hollows. So you could always do a Murphy bed here or a wall bed, and that allows you to put like a desk right here. Because take a look at this view. I wasn't joking when I said it's unbelievable, and I'm just trying to think of ways to take advantage of that amazing view that's here. Now, I will say when I'm working with clients in the hollows, I'll often put a drone up in the air if we're trying to visualize what a home will look like on a particular lot. We'll spend 10 to 15 minutes sometimes capturing footage from so many different angles. But obviously, in an inventory home like this, it's so much better because you don't have to guess at kind of what your view would look like. You can just walk through the home and see what it looks like. And I have a lot of people doing that even when a home is being built. If it's at pre-drywall stage, you want to just make sure that it's safe to walk through. You definitely don't want open shoes. You want closed tip shoes. I can't tell you how many nails I've walked on being around new construction. It's literally happened dozens of times because they're everywhere. They're outside often as well when you're walking up to a home. And I'm walking through a lot of homes that are under construction. So just want to be careful, but it's great to walk through and see what the views would look like. And this is exactly why. If you are watching dinner or you're doing something else right now, you have to get to your screen to watch this because set everything aside. I don't honestly remember seeing this in the listing photos, and I can't believe I didn't know that this had such an incredible view from the secondary bedroom. All those rolling hills that you see in the distance, a lot of them are still a part of the hollows. There is a section deeper into this community where there are luxury custom homes that are located there, properties that are in the $2 to $6 million range, with some of them that have views of Lake Travis. And I'm saying that because having that caliber of homes in a community that is known to bring in luxury buyers, it really maintains property values and continues to attract those luxury buyers to the area. And so to find a home with views like this for under $1 million it's genuinely impressive. When I picture someone living in this bedroom, I imagine the bed position along this wall opposite of the windows, kind of right in between the outlets that are there. So you could put kind of nightstands on either side. And I think every morning waking up to this view, I would put in motorized blinds. So you could just click a button. You don't even need to be fully woken up. You just open up the blinds, click a button, and that's your view right from your bed. That's what I would do. It's just simply incredible. And I gotta tell you, this is why people come out to the hollows. Those rolling hills that you see here, you really see it right away from the grand entrance into the community. So when you're driving into the community, that grand entrance is perched up on kind of like a hillside, and then you drive down that hill to get into the community. And so you see this beauty right from the front entrance. You see Lake Travis, and it's shocking. It's like, oh my, it looks like a picture. And I love driving out to this area for that reason. I truly get excited every time I come out to this area looking at homes. Now, the door on the left side of this closet does lead to attic storage space. It really shouldn't call it storage. It's not meant for storage. It's usually just attic space and access to some sort of utility. And then this bedroom does have an in-suite full bathroom, which is a nice touch. And at this time, I really want to share something about the hollows that makes it different from other communities in the area. When you compare large master plan developments to smaller pocket communities, the hollows occupies a unique space. It's kind of in between. By the number of homes, it probably would say it is a large community, but it doesn't feel that way when you're here. The streets are designed so that you might have a cluster of 4 to 8 homes near each other, and then there's a natural break, or there's lots that are angled in a way that creates separation between properties. So it doesn't give you that master plan feel. It really feels like it adds character and beauty with all the greenery that's here, and you still get multiple price points. Now, when I say multiple price points, you get a lot going on in the hollows here, but just outside of the hollows in different parts of Jonestown, there are some great investment opportunities. And if you're watching this far, you want some bonus footage, well then check out this investment opportunity right here in Jonestown, Texas. Now, this is 10905 Elm Street right here in Jonestown, Texas. I'm going to talk all about Jonestown in this video, but this is what I would call an investor special. Each unit, there are 2 units, is 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. We're looking at over 1,700 square feet. Both units have their own separate backyard, which we're gonna get to in a second. And then you're gonna see a couple of bedrooms upstairs, a lot of natural light coming in here. But most importantly, if you're looking to build equity in a home while still getting some of your mortgage covered by a tenant, there is a month-to-month lease right next door that's currently occupied at the time I'm recording this video at $1,600 a month. This unit obviously is vacant, as you can tell, and it's currently listed at $1,895 a month. And so this is what you can get around these areas that are these small lake towns like Jonestown, but still close by to Leander and all the new developments that are coming up in Leander, Cedar Park, which is growing and has some really cool projects that are coming up. And if I have some time, I'll cover some of them. And then also the lake life, right? If you love the lake life, you want to back up to greenery while building equity on the other side, well, you can do that right here. Now, what I want to cover, and I'm just going to breeze through this because it's just a vacant home. Obviously, that was the kitchen. You got laundry right here, right off of the dining area. You got a living room right over here. And then upstairs, we're going to get out to the bedrooms. While I go through this, I want to cover the topic of buying your first home and buying either a forever home or buying something that you could build equity in. And I'm going to start with the forever home. A lot of people tell me especially when they get married, because my wife and I did it, we got married and we were right away looking at houses, right? Like, where are we going to live? We knew we were going to live in the Austin metro. We should probably live somewhere and build equity so we don't keep paying rent. Nobody wants to pay rent constantly. We want to build our own equity. And so we started looking around at houses and we bought our first starter home. Now, at that time, we were trying to grow a family. And so we were thinking, should we buy a forever home? We're going to be staying in for 10 plus years. So even if we have kids, we'll still have enough room to stay in it. And we were looking at houses that kind of have like this balcony, like looking out to greenery. Like, we were looking at stuff like that. But we decided to buy our starter home that once we have 1 to 2 kids, that we won't feel like we're congested for at least a few years. And really what that means is, we had a game room in our home, we had 4 bedrooms, so we still had enough rooms that made it feel like we would have a little bit of space, right? But eventually we would buy our forever home. Now, that's the exact scenario that we're in. We've been in our home for about 5 to 6 years, and obviously over a 5 to 6 year time period, market, even though it's calmed down a little bit, things have done well over time over the last 5 to 6 years. And so we can either rent out our current home and keep the equity, which is probably what we're going to do, or we could sell it and use that money for a bigger down payment on our forever home. Now, what I'm alluding to is this starter home idea gives you so much more flexibility. When you're first starting out, I would look at properties where if you say, well, you're going to be here short term, maybe for a year or two, you want to be in an area around greenery, you want your mortgage getting paid by a tenant, then I would start looking at opportunities like this. And I can compare this opportunity with other investor ideas that we have with my realtor partner who owns 9 rental properties in the North Austin area. And he's really good at going through these options and weighing the pros and cons of, should you buy an investor home like this and start renting out the other side? You live in one side. That way you can get a mortgage that's not for an investor. Those mortgages do better when it's your actual home. This is also FHA available. So FHA usually has a low down payment. So if you don't want to spend all your cash in one place, you want to just put a smaller down payment on, you qualify, you can get both of these properties under that FHA. But point is, we start evaluating options like this so that we can buy a home that you can build equity over time
And that just makes your forever home that much better, right? Because when you get to that forever home, you can get usually a better forever home when you have already built up equity. So that's why I wanted to show you this option in the Jonestown area. Let me know what you thought about this. Again, the other part of the property, the second side, which looks identical to this, it just mirrors it on the other side, that is currently occupied. But I think you can use your imagination walking through this home and seeing the positive attributes of it. But most importantly, the most important positive part, getting started in real estate and start building equity fast. All right, hope that helps. Take care.